to WhiteBooks. We are the government appointed GSP and we are ISO 27001 2000 certified company. That is why we won't save any of your data or logs in our servers. Our servers are pass-through servers. That is why most of the tech clients like Procter & Gamble, Kia, IBM, HUL, KPMG, Coca-Cola, all these are our customers. We will provide different type of APIs as a GSP, which is GST API, eWaybill API and e-invoice API. Right now I will take you through the eWaybill APIs. To start with this, please create a login with us by clicking on sign up and select developers as a login and enter your basic information, and when you click on submit it will trigger the OTP to the mobile number and email ID. Once you got the OTP, you can enter and create a login with us. Once the login got created, you can enter your email ID and password to log into our platform, where you can see different type of APIs like GST API, eWaybill API and e-invoice API. When you create a login, automatically sandbox credentials will be in enable mode. You can find out those credentials by going to credentials. Here you can see the client ID, secret ID, username, password and GST number. Right now we are providing you the default, which is the Karnataka GST number. If you want to use another state usernames and password for the testing purpose, you can click on download. It will download one PDF where you will have all the logins like username, password and GST number, everything you can find it out here. You can use them for the testing purpose. So next is, once you got the credentials, you can download the Postman collection and PHP collections from the resource. You can download them and use these usernames and passwords to test the application. Now if you want to test in our server, we are providing our Swagger here, and you can test the JSONs and everything from the Swagger itself. So here we are providing two different type of environments. You can test in sandbox and production. So whenever you are doing a sandbox and production, there is a little change in the base URL. So API sandbox will be there for sandbox. So right now I'll take you through the first API call, which is authentication, where this is a get API call. Here this is the information you have to provide. Email ID. Email ID is always the registered email ID with WhiteBooks, not your client email IDs. Username for the testing purpose, I am providing that in our website. You can use them for the testing. Client IDs and secret IDs you have to pass in the header parameters, not in the query parameter. Here I am clearly giving you what to pass, how to pass. You have to pass email ID in the query parameter, username in the query parameter, password in the query parameter, IP address, client ID, secret ID and GS number in the header parameters. So when you click on execute, automatically it will give you the message as authentication success. It won't give you authentication token as a response. Why? Because you don't need to pass in the next API calls. So once you make an authentication call, authentication token will get generated, which is valid for 6 hours. So every 6 hours you have to make this API call in production. So coming to the production, email ID will be same for all the customers, IP address will be same for all the customers, client ID will be same, client secret ID will be same. The only three things will change as per the customer is their GST number, username and password. Coming to this username and password creation, here I will provide you a different client ID and secret ID for production, and you have to create that username and password for each customer in the eWaybill portal. So here I am providing you the document how to create it. Once you log into the eWaybill portal, you have to go to the registration and select for GSP, not for API, and it will trigger the OTP. Select our company name BVM IT Consulting Private Limited and create that username and password. So at that time you can pass that username, password and GST number here. How many customers you may have? Three things will change as per the customer, which is GST number, username and password. So once the authentication token got generated, next coming 6 hours you can use any API call to generate the eWaybill, which is a post API call here. So here email ID, as I told you earlier, it's always the registered email ID with us. So I'm just entering my email ID, where you will pass this email ID as a query parameter, IP address as a header, client ID and secret ID. This will be different from sandbox and production. So GST number is same. Here you have to pass the details as a body, JSON body. So this is the JSON which we are providing. To understand the JSON, here we are providing one Excel sheet where it will give you the clear cut information, which is download help document. This is a Excel sheet where I am going to provide different type of formats like specifications, what is mandatory supply type, whether it is mandatory or not, you can create it. I am creating here mandatory parameter JSON. This is a simple JSON for which is a mandatory parameters. This is a complete JSON, that means full JSON which are not mandatory also available in this JSON. You can find out the master codes, what is supply type, what you can send, what is inward, what is outward and everything. So here you can see the lot of validations which is given by the government website, and you can see the delivery challan sample also, B2C sample JSON also, and sample JSON for inwards. We provide some FAQs and everything here. You can find the JSON schema also, and here you can find all the error codes. Everything is in this Excel sheet itself. So if you download this Excel sheet, you will understand everything, how to prepare this JSON and everything. So here I am using the JSON, and make sure whenever you are testing in sandbox, we request you to change the document number to your company name. Why? Because this is used by a lot of other persons also. So what will happen whenever you trigger the some random document number, you may get 604 error from the government. So I suggest you to use your company name as a document number to generate the e-way bill. Here I am using today's date, which is 23rd/02 2025, and when I click on execute, it will go to the government portal and it give me the e-way bill number, e-way bill date and validity time. Now we successfully generated the e-way bill. You can go to the government portal, you can take the print over there itself, or else you can store this in your database. You can create your own QR code by inserting these three things, whatever you got here as a response, and you can give the print from your application itself. Your client don't need to go to the government portal for taking the e-way bill print. Like that, you can generate the update part to be vehicle also. Here, to understand the JSONs and everything, we request you to go to this website, which is a government website. For each and every API call, you can find the validations, data structures, JSON schemas, everything available in this website for the validations. So we don't have a separate documentation. Why? Because our servers are pass-through servers. So nowhere the JSON will get changed from the government JSON. So we request you to go to this government website for the documentation. Like that, you can generate the consolidated e-way bill, cancel e-way bills and all those things. So here I will take you to the get e-way bill details. Right now we generated one e-way bill number. I just want to fetch the e-way bill details by using that e-way bill number, which is a simple process. I will pass the e-way bill number, and I am taking the same details which is client ID and secret ID from the our website. Here username, we don't need it, email ID. So coming to the IP address, you can pass any IP address. We are not going to block you or unblock you by the IP address. We are just using that for the audit purpose. So when you pass all these details, we can fetch the e-way bill details like this. What is the e-way bill number, e-way bill date, everything, whatever the data we send for the generation of e-way bill, that can be get from this API call. Like this, you can download the e-way bills by date, by state, by GST number, by date, get e-way bill by parties, get address. You can validate the GST number by passing these details. You can pass the GST number what you want to validate by entering this, by entering the GST number here. And always the GST number what you are passing here, which is downside, is always the GST number which is authenticated. And next, you can get the transporter details also by mentioning the transporter ID here. It will fetch you whether the transporter ID is correct or not. If it is correct, it will give you the name and address of the transporter and everything. Like this, we can provide you all those things. And at the same time, when you are dealing with multiple clients, you can create a sub user. That means you can create the sub user here. You can create a sub user by entering their mobile number and email ID. You can give a separate client ID and secret ID to them also, and you can give a limit to them by saying this, I just want to give only 1000 API calls to this e-waybill client. When you save it, it will automatically create a login, and you can pass that client ID and secret ID here. You can see the audit log, what is happening in this website. And at the same time, when you go to these APIs, here you can go to reports. You will get different type of API usage report here. If you click on all, you can see all the monthly usages. You can download in the Excel format. At the same time, if you want to use API user wise report, that means how many clients, how many API calls they are doing it, everything you can see here, and you can bill your customers as per this. Thank you.